Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's WZ Coffee Break. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about virtual collaboration and some of the unique things that impact us when we're trying to collaborate virtually as opposed to face to face. Now, for most of us, over the last 6 to 8 weeks, depending on who you work for, what part of the states or world you live in, we've been in that shelter in place environment, and that has put us in a different workplace environment as well. The thing about virtual collaboration that we have to understand is we're missing a lot of information. And when we talk about communication a lot, I found a really interesting article in the recent issue of Psychology Today. And the article, talks about face to face. And I just want to read just a quick little excerpt from this article that says, "Our eyes, gestures, and tone put us in sync and bring us together in a more profound way than words alone. It's why we look hopefully forward to the return of in person, face to face connection." However, as we know, even though there might be changes coming forward in the shelter in place and lifting restrictions and other things like this, one thing that we have to keep in mind is the workplace environment may continue down the same path that we're on right now, and it may create a new normal. I've got friends who have told me that their organization has come to them and said, it doesn't matter what the states are doing, plan on working from home for the next 6 months. Another friend, their environment is when they do get back, possibly at the end of May, early June, something like that, they're going to be shifting to alternating shifts. Some will be working Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some will be in the office Mondays and Wednesdays. No one will be there Friday, but still you're not having that same collaboration that you may have been used to before. And so what we need to understand is just how to overcome some of the obstacles that go with it so that we can be successful, and more importantly, so we can excel in that virtual collaboration and be better. As we know, face-to-face is probably more effective and efficient for us. But one of the things that the article in Psychology Today had pointed out, and some things that we have to consider, is visceral comprehension. And visceral comprehension is created by physical energy. The things that we know as fight or flight, we recognize things happening around us viscerally, nonverbal cues, and et cetera, that we're not picking up perhaps when we're having to be involved in virtual meetings. So what I want you to think about, and a couple little tips here for you to maybe be more effective at those virtual type of collaborations, whether it is an internal meeting, you're collaborating with someone externally. A couple things that would help is, first off, you understand that there are distractions all around us, right? And as most of us are working from home, those distractions could be the home environment, in addition to friends, kids, family, dogs, whatever else, right? And so we have to overcome some of these obstacles here. And we know, first off, that we're more engaged when we're on camera. One of the things that we do with meetings here at WZ is certainly, we have our weekly get together, but we do it in a platform where we're all on camera, we're all able to say hi. We have a little bit of fun with it as well, but it keeps everyone a little bit better engaged. So to eliminate some of those distractions, and so that we can pick up on some of those visceral cues that we're maybe not aware of. Other things to go in is think about when you are in an environment like this, because we're missing certain bits of information. You should certainly be practicing empathetic communication, trying to understand rather than trying to be understood, and communicate in a way that's open, engaging, et cetera. Be consistent with your meeting times. When there's consistency, then we can develop a routine around, I know that every Monday at 9 a.m. I've got my hour-long meeting, or every afternoon we have this a collaboration meeting, et cetera. There's consistency that develops good habits. Also, use things like whiteboards, poll questions, other things to keep people engaged during the conversation, during these collaborative efforts, especially whiteboards or sharing documents. We know when we're face to face, we have the ability to engage differently. Let's try to keep that same level of engagement there by taking advantage of the technologies that are available to us, which really translates to make sure that you have a good flat platform to conduct virtual collaboration, virtual meetings, and et cetera. What else do I have here? One thing to also consider, which is difficult, I know, for some of us, but do the best you can to replicate a normal office space. Working at the kitchen table can be quite difficult and quite distracting. So the best thing to do is, try to do the best you can to create some office space. I have worked from home for the past 18 years or so, so I have an office space available to me. Some of us got thrown into it, and we don't necessarily have that, but do the best you can to create that. It's interesting. I had a guy on one of my webinars recently say that when he does his interviews, sometimes some of the important interviews that he has to do, he actually takes them in his car, in his garage, so he can eliminate all the distractions around him. So he's trying to create some office space, even if that office space happens to be in his vehicle. And finally, the last thing to do when it comes to virtual collaboration, set standards. Sometimes those standards are, hey, cameras on, I don't know, a variety of different standards that you might consider that could be helpful to increasing engagement and making sure that you're more successful and you begin to excel. The face-to-face, we want to get back to it. I get it. I understand that. We've even had a client here, contact us and say, hey, we can't host your meeting coming up later this year. Things like that are going to happen. I remember seeing an interview on BBC News recently, BBC America, and there was someone from Harvard Medical School, and he was talking about meetings in person. They're a thing of the past. Dr. Fosse's telling us the handshake is a thing of the past. So virtual collaboration is what we need to get used to as a new norm going forward. And one last thing that I would say is when it comes to doing your meetings, if you have a day-long meeting, let's say you may have intended a day-long retreat, a team building retreat, something like that. The best thing to do, split those days up when we're doing things virtually. We're surrounded by distractions and other things happening with us. You want to keep people engaged rather than a full day of meetings. Break it up into segments per day. There's an organization I'm working with right now. We have 8 hours of training that we're working through. But what are we doing? We split them into 2-hour blocks over 4 separate days. Why? To keep people engaged, to keep people excited about the topic, subject matter, and also not take them away from some of the things and responsibilities that they might have with their families and their home surroundings and other things. Virtual collaboration is certainly, it's possible. It can be very effective if you go into it very open-minded and think about trying to accomplish the same things if you were face-to-face. So you guys take care of yourselves, take care of your families, wash those hands, practice that social distancing, and create some new standards for virtual meetings so that we can overcome some of the fears that go along with missing face-to-face connection, because we can certainly create that face-to-face connection virtually. There's no doubt about that. Collaboration is possible. You guys have an awesome day. Thanks for attending and watching, and certainly keep in touch. Look forward to hearing from you. Once again, stay safe, be good, and we'll see you soon. Have a fantastic morning. Take care. Bye.